Hi everybody, and welcome to this BAMP workshop video. Today we'll be discussing majors and minors. So my name is Jasmine. I'm a third year at UCI. I go by she, her, hers, and I'm a history major specializing in teaching.
Hi everybody, I am also here. I'm also a mentor here at BAMP. My name is Crystal too, and I'm a third year. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am double majoring in education science and English literature with a specialization in teaching.
Hi everyone, I'm Emi Yamasaki. I am also a BAMP mentor. I am a second year and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a psychological science major and I'm minoring in Japanese studies.
We're going to first discuss what exactly a major is and the different types of majors. Then we're going to talk about minors and how they're different from majors. Go through a frequently asked questions section, a website walkthrough, and then some final words before we show all of the website resources.
Okay, so what is a major? It's your primary academic field of interest. So think of it this way, as high school students, you're all taking general education classes with electives to receive your high school diploma. And quite similarly, college students do the same thing, except they have a major in addition to general education classes. So they have general education plus major requirements. And your major itself is a primary academic field of interest. And you take a group of core classes to fulfill those requirements. And having a major is also required if you attend a college. And once you successfully complete all of these, then you'll receive a degree. And a degree, it's not quite the same as a major. It's paired with your major when you graduate to signify like what you studied and your level of knowledge in a particular area. So I have this little like nifty kind of chart thing that you can use to understand like how the major gets paired with the degree. So if you attend a college or a university, you would be taking classes for your major to receive a degree called your bachelor's, and you can get a bachelor's in the arts or in the sciences. So here I have an example, zoology. If you major in zoology, then you can graduate and receive your bachelor's, and you'll have a title on your diploma that says Bachelor of Zoology. But if you go to a community college, you could get an associate's degree in zoology, or if you go to graduate school, you could get a master's, and so on. You could get a PhD.
So there are a lot of different types of majors that you can choose from. And the way that I've cut them or divided them up here is the way that most colleges will divide them. And what they'll typically do is have different schools or departments, and those will be things like the School of Social Science or of Engineering, which will encompass all of the different majors that fall within those categories. So here I have some of the major ones like the biological and physical sciences, engineering, humanities, computer sciences, and social sciences, but there are other things like arts.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what a minor is. So you can think of your minor as kind of like a mini major. It's a secondary subject that you want to study, and the courses will go beyond the introductory level in about 7 classes or so. Many majors in college are also offered as minors, although some minors are only offered as minors. You can minor in anything except for your major, and sometimes you can take classes that will count towards both your major and your minor. So they're relatively easy to add to your degree as well, but an important thing to remember is that a minor is optional. You do not have to declare a minor in college. Okay, so now that we know what majors and minors are, I like to go over some of the differences and compare them. So a major, again, is something that you have to have in college, but a minor is optional. And sometimes a major may require you to apply for it because it's competitive, but for minors, you can just request to add it to your degree, and as long as you complete the requirements, you're good to go. So on the screen, I have screenshots of the requirements for the psychological science major on the left and the psychological science minor on the right at UCI. So in the left, on the red box, you can see that this major requires you to meet the university and department or school requirements. The minor does not require you to do these. In the blue boxes, you can also see that the major requires 13 classes or 52 units to finish, while the minor only requires 8 classes or 32 units. The classes you can take are shown in the white and gray tables. So now we're going to go over some frequently asked questions about majors and minors.
So how do I choose a major? This is an age-old question. Choosing a major is hard, and it's always okay to change your mind. I probably changed my mind about 6 times before I really decided what major I wanted to pursue as a freshman. And this is a 5-step process that worked for me, and I hope it can help you as well. Beginning with the interest stage, ask yourself, what am I passionate about? And your passions don't need to be directly related to a major. Like sometimes you can tie your passion to a major in other ways. For example, if you like art and you like to do art or create sculptures and such things, but you don't really want to be an art major and get graded on those, you can also learn more about art history instead and major in that topic. So if you can tie your passions to your major, then learning is a lot more enjoyable. And secondly, research. Like, what does this major focus on? And Google will become your best friend, and so will YouTube. When I was in high school, I was always watching like college vlogs, like a day in my life as a bio major or a day in my life as a political science major. And I would also Google some of the topics of focus, like, are some of these courses within the major something that I can see myself enjoying? Am I going to be okay like doing assignments for these courses I have to take? And most importantly, like talk to people, because that's how you can really understand like some of their experiences within the major and get input from them and make decisions from there based on what you think is best for yourself. And also your BAMP mentors are here to help. We have a lot of mentors that are majoring in a lot of different subjects. So hopefully like we can provide some advice or some of our experiences with our time here at UCI. So for the fourth one, what schools offer it? You can check out if your school has your major using this website, and you can filter it by the different majors that you want and the location. So you can, I believe you can enter in like your zip code and it'll show you like some colleges nearby that will have the major that you like. And the last thing, apply. When you apply for college, you can choose what major that you like within the application, but you can also choose to be undeclared if you're not really sure. And you can enter as a freshman undeclared and declare your major after acceptance. But there are some exceptions that make it a little bit easier for you to apply for a major. For example, at my orientation at UCI, people could declare their major there. They would just say like, oh, is anybody here undeclared? Like, come over to this side of the room if you want to become a social science major. And then that was that. But if you don't declare it there, then that's okay. You just have to choose within 2 years of residency on campus. Or if you choose then and you don't like it, you can always change it even after.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to the question, why a minor, right? Because sometimes it might seem like a minor is not as important as your major. However, your minor can be used in many different ways. So some people choose to minor in a subject because it relates to their major or career goals. So for example, you could major in political science, but minor in international studies to understand how different cultures and societies can affect politics. Sometimes people minor in something just because they don't have enough room or time in their college plans to double major. Personally, I chose to minor in Japanese studies for personal interest. So I wanted to connect my cultural to my cultural heritage and learn to communicate in Japanese to people in my community who don't speak English or don't speak English as well. And I would also be able to understand anime without subtitles, which is pretty cool to me. But by minoring in Japanese, I can also gain an upper hand when applying to jobs, since I can apply the language skills and cultural knowledge I gain from my minor to my future career.
So now I'm going to be answering the question, are all of my courses going to be centered around my major? And the short answer is no. So the way that you're typically going to decide which courses you want to take is you're going to choose between 5 different categories of courses. So this first box, university, It just means, at least for the UC system, you have to fulfill certain requirements during or before you enroll. And most of you, if you were going through the American curriculum, will already have them completed, and they're going to be the entry-level writing, just to show that you have a basic ability to write. And then American history and institutions, so you have to take a course in American history. The second one is going to be your general education or breadth courses. And these are courses that are required for every student to take, and they'll be divided into categories. So you'll have science and technology, arts and humanities, languages, and so on. So these are just a way for the university to offer you a variety of information and knowledge that you wouldn't get if you only focus on courses that pertain to your major. So your next box is the school/departmental courses. And as I was mentioning earlier, your school or department is going to be the overall structure that organizes all of the majors that fit within that category. So if you're going to be a humanities major, every humanities major, at least at UCI, has to have two levels of language. You have to have either American history or world history and things like that that are going to help you in your more specific classes for your major. And then finally, we have your major in the fourth box, and these are the courses that are going to actually help you earn your degree in the subject that you want to learn and major in. And then finally, you have your elective courses. So these are the courses that are not necessarily required for any of the categories I've mentioned above, but they're things that you want to take out of personal interest. So I took art because I have a personal interest in art, and other people like to take psychology, business, either to see if it's something they would like to pursue as a major or minor, or just because they wanted to see more information about it.
Okay, so like Crystal mentioned, it is totally okay to enter college undeclared. Similarly, if you ever want to change your major, that is possible as well. So oftentimes the classes you take for one major can fulfill the requirements for a different major. So for example, I took a statistics course that counted for my major and general education requirements. And if I decided to switch into, let's say, computer science, that course could transfer and still count as my general education requirement. Usually, colleges have a registrar or department that your major is under where you can check to see how to switch your major. And most of the time, you need to have good grades and complete some specific courses before you can officially switch into that major. However, sometimes majors are competitive, such as nursing science. So you might not be able to switch into it because you would have to come in as that major. But I do have a friend that went from being undeclared to being a data science major and then switching to business information and management all within the span of a year and a half. So it is possible and doable to switch your major multiple times throughout college.
All right, so now I'm going to take you on a website walkthrough of the UCI General Catalog. And so while it's loading up here, what the General Catalog is, it's just like it said, a catalog of all of the courses and the majors that you can choose from. So the website is called catalog.uci.edu, but you can also just search up the terms UCI catalog or whatever school catalog on Google. So now that we're here, we're going to go down and we're going to click on Explore Undergraduate Programs. And all of your majors and minors are organized either alphabetically or by focus and interest. So if you already have a general idea of what direction you want to go, you're probably going to want to look at this first page. So it's going to have the arts, biological sciences, business, so on. The one thing I will say about this specific catalog for UCI is that things like English and history, things that would usually go in humanities, you're actually going to find under education. So that's where all of these are listed. So if something like that happens where you can't find the thing you're looking for or they don't fit under any of these categories, you can just go ahead and go to the organized alphabetically. And so if I click on H, you'll see history there, and you'll see English under E. Now, another thing I want to show is if you go into this drop-down menu and you click on schools and programs, this is going to show you a list of all of the different schools or departments that UCI has. And so if I go under the School of Biological Sciences, it's gonna have a few tabs. So this is the overview, the faculty, the departments. But the thing we're going to look at right now is the majors, minors, and graduate programs. And so this is going to just give you a list of all of the different minors and majors. And later on, if you want to take on a master's, the master's programs that they have under each school.
Okay, so we know that was a lot of information, so do feel free to go back to any parts of our video if you need to. But to wrap up, we want to emphasize a few points. So first of all, when you are choosing a major, make sure that you're choosing something that you are interested and passionate about. There can be a lot of pressure to choose a major that will lead to making a lot of money or gaining a lot of social status. But if it's not something you want to do, we don't recommend that you force yourself to do it. Additionally, if you find that maybe you don't actually like what you're studying or you found something even more interesting than your current major, it's always okay to switch. Your major does not determine your career path either. For example, even though I am a psychological science major, I want to work in the field of education later. And even though it's not the traditional pathway, if I had majored in education, for example, I can still reach my ultimate goal because I can apply what I learned in psychology to many fields. So in the end, as long as you have a degree, you can get a job in any field as long as you have the right experience and skill sets. Finally, what you get out of your major or minor ultimately depends on you and what you do to make your college experience valuable to yourself. We know it can all seem very, very daunting, but that's why we're here to help you out. In fact, just by watching our video, you are already arming yourself with the knowledge you can use to succeed in college.
So lastly, here are some helpful website resources that you can look at. The UCI catalog was the one that Jasmine showed in her website walkthrough. You can go here to check out your classes, check out some resources for choosing a major. And for the second link, you can also look at the various things that you can do with your major post-graduation and the many career opportunities that are available for your skill set. Like Emmy said, she is majoring in psychological sciences, but she wants to work in the field of education in the future. So if you look on this website and you go into the psychological sciences tab, you might be able to find the area of education and how you can apply psychology to that. And next, for the college search, this is different from the link that I showed earlier for finding your major. I personally used this when I was applying for colleges because this is tied to College Board, and the SAT was showing me this link very often in my emails. And I knew location mattered a lot to me when I was applying for college, and UCI was one of the top results in terms of location and the programs offered for education. And also on this website, you can filter by campus and housing, major, location, and various other things. It'll narrow your search a lot down to the majors that you want and other various things that matter. And next, we also have this website called 16 Personalities. It's a personality quiz where you can find out your personality type. And after you take the quiz, it will give you results and more holistic results. And in addition to your career, you can also find out like how you are in like friendships and such. But yeah, be sure to check out the career section and what sort of careers does your personality type tend to thrive in. And lastly, Career Finder is another quiz that you can use to see what type of career suits you best. And the results will actually show you specific jobs and schools that will match well with you. And like it'll even give you like job listings. Of course, some of them are limited to after you graduate, but you can always keep this in mind for after you finish college.
Okay, so that's all we have for you guys today. If we missed anything or if you have any questions, you can contact us through our email, website, Instagram, or other socials, which is listed on the slide and will be linked in the description. But other than that, thank you very much and look out for other BAMP videos.